Hey everyone, how's it going? Azren, the language nerd here. Hope you're doing very, very well. Super excited to be recording this video. I'm gonna adjust some of the lighting here to get it a little bit brighter if I can. It's dark outside, so, oh, there we go. That's probably as good as I can get it. Hopefully you can see me clearly. Hopefully you can hear me clearly. So before we get started, I want to say a couple of things. So first and foremost, everybody to go in the video description, and I would like you to open the note file that we are using for this, for the Spanish class, the Spanish course here. It is a Google Doc. You will see it. Number two, if you are watching this and you have not watched the course introduction video, please do that first. I put a link to the course introduction video in the description below as well. So please watch that video before watching this one here. Number three, just for some fun, check this out. Look, I'm repping my I Am a Language Nerd t-shirt. So I'm excited about that. Actually, fun fact, maybe I can include a link for this as well. It's almost ready. It's not quite ready yet as I'm recording this, but very, very soon, this shirt will be purchasable. Purchasable? That's a word, right? For anyone who is interested in purchasing that t-shirt and wants a shirt that says, I am a language nerd. I've worn this shirt for a while and people keep asking like, Azren, where did you get that? How did you get that? And it's so funny because I literally made it just for me. I was like, I want a shirt like that. So I made it just for me. I made a black one. I wore it. People are like, hey, that's a cool shirt. That's a cool shirt. Made a white one. And then I made some for people who work for me here in Calgary, some volunteers who work for me. So they've been wearing them. And then people have asked me, hey, can I get it anywhere? I've been like, no, I mean, it's not really, there's nowhere you could buy it. I mean, I didn't really have anything ready for people to buy it. I didn't really know how to set up a store like that online. I just didn't know how it worked. And now it's about 80% done. I sat down with someone, the husband of a follower, actually, and he helped me set it all up. And it's not fully done yet, but it's almost done. So maybe by the time you're watching this, there'll be a link in the description with a link if you do want to get the shirt. But as of right now, not very purchasable. Anyway, let's jump into our class. So let's do a little bit of a recap of the first class to start off, and then we will continue from there. So last time, aside from our course introduction, we just started with a few different basic phrases. So to recap, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a bunch of them in Spanish, and I'd like you to listen and see, did you recognize what I said? Do you remember that from the last class? And do you understand? Okay, so we'll start things off really, really easy. Hola. Hola. Did you understand that? Hopefully you did. I think everybody knows hola. Hola, right? Hello, hi, hola. Okay, let's do another one. What would you say if I were to ask you, ¿de dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres? Think about it. Listen, I'll say it again. ¿De dónde eres? I'll say it one more time. ¿De dónde eres? If I say ¿de dónde eres? How would you reply? What am I asking you? Let's think about this. I'll give you a moment. So ¿de dónde eres is asking you, where are you from? Right? And you would say, soy de whatever country you're from. So in my case, I'm from Canada. So soy de Canadá. Right? So if I say, ¿de dónde eres? You would reply, soy de whatever country you're from. See some people hopping on the live stream. Hello, hello, hello. Please go into the link if you're hopping on now and you're watching this live. You will see the course, the notes document that we're using. You're welcome to do that. So I want you to think about, how would you say your country? I'm going to ask you again. ¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres? And you're going to say, soy de, and your country. Now, if you don't know what your country is and you are watching this live, please type it in the chat and I can help you with how to say that. Maybe what we can do is we can go through a couple of common countries in Spanish. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a list on my computer here. countries in Spanish. Let's just hope a whole bunch. We can go through some common countries that perhaps you are from. So we have Canada. I know a lot of you seeing this are going to be from Canada. So Canada, I'll write it for you here. By the way, for people who watch the recorded version, please note that I am actually typing live while it is being recorded. So sometimes you might see something that is automatically there, and you're like, oh, why is Azren saying, let me type it in? Well, it's because during the live stream, I was typing it in. That is why. Okay, so common countries in Spanish. So we have Canada, which is Canada. 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 For the live people, feel free to throw in the chat any countries you want to know how to say. So I'll just point out for Canada, when we say Canada, the accent, the emphasized part of the word is the last syllable. I'll highlight that in green so you guys can see that. So the last syllable highlighted in green, Canada, right? It's not Canada, it's Canada. Okay, so if Canada, we can give you USA, right? So the USA, United States. So United States is Los Estados Unidos. Los Estados Unidos. Okay, Los Estados Unidos. Okay, I'll say it a couple times so you can hear it. Los Estados Unidos. Okay. I'm going to check the live chat, see if there's any country recommendations. Nope, nobody's recommended countries. We can do a few more. We can do Europe. Maybe you're from somewhere in Europe. Europe is Europa. Europa. Okay. Europa. Europa. I'll say it 3 more times so you can hear it. Europa. 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 Okay. Let's do a few more. We can do perhaps England. Many countries in Spanish are actually the same, or basically the same as in English. Like China is China, for example. Like CH, it's spelled the same way, just pronounced slightly different. Like Canada, even Canada is very similar. Canada, Canada, like a lot of them are very similar. So perhaps I'll give you some here that are not exactly the same. So England, as I said, Inglaterra. Inglaterra. Okay, I'll say it a few times. Inglaterra. 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 I'll say it a little faster. Inglaterra. Inglaterra. Okay. Let's give you a few more. Germany is quite different. Okay, if you're sticking around in Europe. Alemania. Germany is Alemania. 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 Okay, let me check the live chat. Any country recommendations? Nope. Well, there's obviously way more countries in the world. There's like so many. I'm not going to make a comprehensive list today because that would take us, it would take us a whole hour, hour and a half just to make a full list of countries. I'll give you one, maybe 2 more. I'll give you Spain, which is España. España. I'll say it a few times. España. España. And then I'll give you Mexico as well. It's spelled basically the same way as in English, but it's pronounced quite differently. Okay, so it's Mexico. 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 I'll point out, I'll even highlight it in green so you can see it. The first syllable of Mexico has an E with a little line on top, with a little accent on top, right? We covered this in the introduction class, but let's revisit it again. When you see an accent mark, basically that little line on top of a letter, when you see an accent mark, that particular syllable is emphasized. So in Mexico, it's Mexico. I'll really stress it so you can hear it. Mexico. Mexico. It's not Mexico. It's not Mexico, but Mexico. If we look at Canada, the very first country that we listed, it's not Canada, it's not Canada, but it's Canada. Canada. Okay, so Canada, Mexico. right? Most of the time in Spanish, I'll make sure this is written in as well. So most of the time in Spanish, when we are pronouncing a word, for the most part, a general rule of thumb is that the second last syllable of a word, okay, second last syllable of a word is the syllable that gets stressed. Okay, so the second last syllable of the word is the syllable that we stress. So if we look at some of the countries, I can give you some examples. Let's look at Europe, for example. Europe has 3 syllables. We have eu, ro, pa. Europa. So let's think about that. The second last syllable is, in this case, the second syllable, right? If we have 3 syllables in the word, Europa, the second last syllable is our second syllable. So that is the syllable that we emphasize. We say Europa. Europa. Not every time I say Europe, my phone thinks that I'm talking to Google, and like Google starts to go off my phone. Very, very interesting. So Europa. Not Europa, not Europa, but Europa. Let's look at another example. Let's look at England. England has Inglaterra, 4 syllables. So our second last syllable is our third one. So when we pronounce it, we say Inglaterra, Inglaterra. So that te is the most emphasized syllable in the word. It's not, if we emphasize the first syllable, what does it sound like? It would be Inglaterra. If we do the second one, the second syllable, it would sound like Inglaterra. If we emphasize the fourth one, it would sound like Inglaterra. All of those are incorrect. It is Inglaterra, Inglaterra. So that loud syllable is always, most of the time, there's some exceptions, but most of the time is the second last syllable. The exception to this, one exception to this rule is if you see an accent in a word, such as the word Mexico, such as the word Canada, right? If there's an accent mark on a word, on a letter, that syllable now becomes emphasized. I'll make sure that's written in the note file here as well, so that one exception that there is. There's a couple exceptions, but that's the main one, so that you have it in writing as well. Okay, so I'll type that in right now. So one of the exceptions to this rule is when a word has an accent mark on top of a vowel, such as in the countries Mexico and Canada above. In that circumstance, the emphasized syllable in a word is the syllable with the accent mark. If that does not make sense, please let me know. I want to stress this. You're going to hear me. I'm going to sound like a broken record in every single video. I'm going to sound like a broken record. I'm going to say this so many times, but I'm able to help people best when we have one-on-one interactions and when we have interaction. So if something doesn't make sense, if you're like, oh, I don't know if I fully get that, or I need more practice, I'm not sure if that's sticking, please tell me. Please let me know, and I will do my absolute best to help you. I found that's what I found in my experience of teaching. I found that that's kind of how I'm able to help people best. And especially now in the early phases, it depends on when you're watching this, I suppose. That's the biggest thing, depends on when you're watching this. If you're watching this anywhere near the date of it actually being recorded and posted, you're in extreme luck that it's probably, this whole course is in its least popular phase. I feel reasonably confident. We'll see what happens. I feel reasonably confident this whole course is going to get a heck of a lot more popular as time goes on. Because I think it's going to be really good, and I think I can help a lot of people, and I'll be reaching out to a lot of people about it. So take advantage. Okay. So if I say de donde eres, if we're doing our recap, right? De donde eres, you're going to say soy de whatever country you're from. Okie dokie. Let me have a look at the live chat here. So Cole says, I feel like visuals would be really helpful for beginners. So Cole, if you look in the chat, in the chat, In the description of the video, you're going to see a note file with all the visuals. Everything is there. There is a note file. Vladimir asks, are you going to make free Chinese lessons? Maybe in the future, not as of right now. I'm doing this for French and Spanish beginner to start with, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Okie dokie. Let's continue. Let's continue here. I see some more people hopped into the Google Doc. Looks like we have a couple people in here. So hello. Let's do a little bit more recap. How would I, if I asked you, ¿Cómo estás? How would you reply? So I said, hola, ¿cómo estás? Hola, ¿cómo estás? How would you reply? Think about it. I'll give you 5-10 seconds to think. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Okay, so I said, hola, ¿cómo estás? You would reply with, what are our options? You can say, muy bien. What's muy bien? Think about it. Muy bien. Muy bien means very good. We learned that last time. We have muy bien. You could say bien, which just means good. You could say estoy muy bien, which is a more full answer, which is like I am very well. Or you could say estoy bien, which is I'm well, I'm doing good. Okay, those are our options. Again, this is a recap from the last lesson. Okay, this is the recap here. ¿Cómo estás? Estoy muy bien, estoy bien, bien. You have different options. What we're going to do is I want to give you a few more options of what you might say if someone asks you ¿Cómo estás? Let's build on that. I'll type this. I'll make sure this is in the Google Doc here. Okay. So a couple of things you might say is estoy cansado. Estoy cansado. Okay, estoy cansado, which means I'm tired, right? If you're feeling a little bit tired today, you can say, oh, estoy cansado. I'll say it a couple of times so you can hear it. Estoy cansado. Estoy cansado. Estoy cansado. Estoy cansado. Estoy cansado. If you are, now, one thing that's important to note for Spanish, and you're going to notice this as we go, let's look at this word cansado, okay? Cansado means tired. Now, most of the time in Spanish, when we have an adjective, there's going to be a different way to spell and pronounce that adjective depending on if you are a boy or if you are a girl. So there's a different form if it is for men or males or females. There's a different form. So this is important to understand. So estoy cansado is only used if you are a guy, only used for males. Okay, I'll make sure this is written into the Google Doc. Okay, females would say estoy cansada. Estoy cansada. Estoy cansada. So I'll say them both side by side. Estoy cansado. This is for males. Estoy cansada. This is for females. I'll say them both again. Estoy cansado. Estoy cansada. Estoy cansado. Estoy cansada. Okay, so this is important. I stress, and I'm going to repeat myself various times as we get into here, and I want to make sure this is crystal clear, because as you go further in Spanish, if this is not clear, your brain's going to get confused once we hit a couple more grammatical points. This works for adjectives, okay? So what is an adjective? Adjectives are describing words. So anything that you use to describe something is an adjective. I'll give you some examples. Bright is an adjective. Big is an adjective. Small, fast, slow, huge, new, old. Looking around for inspiration. All shapes, so square, rectangle, triangle. I can say, oh, this is a square picture, right? Or I might be able to say even something like colors. Colors are all adjectives. So for all adjectives in Spanish, okay, all adjectives in Spanish, there's generally, let's say most adjectives in Spanish, there's going to be a different version for guys as there is for girls. It's going to be slightly different. You're going to see this as we continue with these basic phrases and as you're looking through these basic phrases. Okay, so estoy cansado. I'm tired, or estoy cansada. Let me check the live chat if people have any questions here. Looks like, nope, there's no questions. Let's keep going. Alrighty. Estoy cansado. Let's keep going. You might say, I am, maybe you're stressed out about something. You're stressed. Estoy estresado. Okay, this one is used for males. Estoy estresado. Females would say estoy estresada. Okay, so estoy estresado, estoy estresada. I'll say them both a couple times. You can get it in your mind. Estoy estresado, estoy estresada. Estoy estresado, estoy estresada. I see some people just hopped onto the live stream here. Looks like some new people potentially. So just as a note, there is a note file in the description. Please open that note file. We are currently on page 5, so the very last page in the document. Okay, so we have estoy estresado, estoy estresada. Let's keep this going. We have stressed. Maybe you're feeling very happy today, right? I'm happy. You can say estoy contento. This is for males. Females would say estoy contenta. You have an additional option here. You can also say estoy feliz. Okay, estoy feliz. Feliz does not have, feliz is the same word regardless of if you are a guy or regardless of if you are a girl. Doesn't really matter. So feliz does not change based on your gender. It is the same. So estoy contento. I'll say them a few times. Estoy contento. Estoy contenta. Estoy feliz. Estoy contento. Estoy contenta. Estoy feliz. Estoy contento. Estoy contenta. Estoy feliz. Okay. So we've got a few different options. We've got a few different options there. Okay. If there are other potential things that you would like to say about how you are doing, like any specific emotions, and from people who are watching live, you're welcome to type them into the live chat, and we can include those. If you're watching this recorded and you're like, man, how would I say I am blah 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 blah, whatever emotion or feeling, you are welcome to type that in. You're welcome to send it to me, message it to me. As usual, my username is @polyglotazren. I'm happy to help you and help you figure out how you would say that particular emotion or that particular feeling. Okay, we'll do a couple more here while we're here for different phrases. Let's say you're sad. I'm sad. Estoy triste. Estoy triste. Estoy triste. Estoy triste. I'm not very triste today, but if I was, I would say estoy triste. Maybe you're feeling a little bit angry today. I'm angry. Estoy enojado. This is only for males. And then we have estoy enojada for females. Okay, enojado. Estoy enojado. Estoy enojada. Estoy enojado. Estoy enojada. Estoy enojado. Estoy enojada. So we've got a small selection of different feelings of how you might be feeling today. Now, let's do a little bit of a test. Okay, this is going to be a little bit difficult for some of you if you're new to Spanish, but I promise you have the knowledge to say all of these. Last time, we learned ¿Cómo estás? Right? Did we learn ¿Cómo estás? Let me just double check, look through the notes. I'm pretty sure we learned ¿Cómo estás? Yes, we learned ¿Cómo estás? Yes, how are you? Okay, we learned ¿Cómo estás? So ¿Cómo estás is how are you? What is if you were to break down ¿Cómo estás word per word, what do you think it means word per word? Okay, so if we look at ¿Cómo estás? Okay, what does that mean word per word? What do you guys think? I'll give you maybe 10 seconds to think about it. See if you have any hypothesis on what does ¿Cómo estás mean? If we break it down, translate this word per word, what does it mean? Okay, so word per word, what I'm going to do is in the notes as you're watching this, there's just going to be a little blank so that the answer isn't immediately there. You have to watch the video and follow along. So ¿Cómo estás word per word literally means how you are. Okay, how you are. So ¿Cómo estás means how you are. So estás by itself means you are, right? So how would you ask me, Azren, are you feeling stressed today? Azren, are you feeling stressed today? How would you say that? I'll give you the word for today, right? I'll write it in the Google Doc here so you guys can see. Right, how would you say, Azren, are you stressed today? Today is hoy, okay? Hoy means today. So Azren, are you stressed today? How would you say that? I'm going to give you a couple of these. How would you say, Azren, are you stressed today? How would you say, Azren, are you happy today? How would you say, Azren, are you sad today? Azren, are you angry today? How would you ask these questions? We're going to leave that for homework. Okay, this is going to be some homework that I give you. All right. So I'm going to write this in here. Please send this to me as homework and practice for from today's lesson. As a reminder, the homework that you can submit, I would like you, this homework specifically, I would like you to send me a written account. A written account of how you'd say these, as well as a voice message. So I'd like you to actually get the practice with both the writing side, so the typing side, I suppose, since you'll be sending to me on my phone, as well as the voice messaging. As a reminder, homework is sent to me on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. Send homework to me on Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat. Pick one. My username is @polyglotazren. Okay, so that's @POLYGLOTAZREN, right? @polyglotazren. So these are going to be some homework that I give you guys. All right. So let's continue with let me actually check the live chat. Any questions or anything that came through? Looks like no. Okie dokie. So let's continue. Let's continue with some basic phrases. We have a lot of basic phrases we haven't covered that are very, very, very useful. Let's look at words such as thank you. Thank you. I hope everyone knows how to say thank you. It's a reasonably common word. Gracias. Gracias. I'll say it a little bit slowly. Gracias. 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 Okay. Gracias. you want to say you're welcome. So someone says, oh, gracias, gracias for whatever, right? You want to say you're welcome. You would say de nada, de nada. So gracias, de nada. Gracias is thank you. De nada is you're welcome. So gracias and de nada. Let's take a moment to cover a pronunciation point. Not a major one, but worth talking about. I think it comes up in both gracias, de nada, and it's definitely come up in some of the other phrases that we've learned. Let's talk about the letter R in Spanish. So if you notice in the word gracias, we have an R. Now, many people in Spanish struggle, when they're learning Spanish, they struggle with this R. They find it quite difficult to pronounce. The good news is that it's actually 50% easier than you think. I say 50% easier because there's actually two different types of R's in Spanish. We have an R which is a single R, like in the word gracias, and then we have a double R, such as the word, I don't know, like carro. Carro is like a car. So a double R with like two R's in the word. So you have gracias, which has single R, carro, which has two R's. Now, double R's, we're not going to talk about that today. They're a little bit more complicated, take a little bit more practice. They're not not super easy for a lot of people. It takes practice and blah, 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 blah. They're a little bit icky. Single R's, on the other hand, are actually reasonably simple because we actually have them in English. So in gracias, you kind of want to pronounce it similar to a very soft D, like the letter D in English. So if anything, it's actually closer to, it's not a GR. It's kind of like if you try to put a G and a small d together. So gracias, gracias. Let me give you a few other words, a couple other maybe some exercises that you can do. Okay. So I'll give you a couple of little pronunciation activities that you can do to practice this letter R. Okay. So if you're practicing this R here, in English, I would practice saying the following. Pot of tea. Right? I want you to say the English word pot of tea. I want you to practice saying get on they, but I want you to say it reasonably quickly. Get on they. Okay. Get on they. And let's stick with these two for now. Pot of tea and get on they. You're like, what the heck? Why the heck would I say pot of tea and get on they? Well, the reason is that if you say these, you'll actually be saying Spanish, something very close to real Spanish words. Pot of tea, if you say pot of tea and you say it reasonably quickly, you're going to be saying a Spanish word or two words, which is para ti, which means for you. So when you say a pot of tea, it's super close to para ti. Para ti, 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 para ti. They're super, super similar. When you say get on day, right? When you say get on day and you say it reasonably quickly, right? You're going to be saying grande in Spanish, which means big. Grande, 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 grande. So if you kind of practice these little exercises, your tongue will get used to that little R in Spanish, making words like gracias, right? Gracias becomes a heck of a lot easier when your tongue starts to understand, oh, it's like when I say grande, oh, get on de, grande, grande, oh, pot of tea, para ti, oh, I understand, right? It'll help your tongue get used to those. Maybe I'll write that in the note file so you guys can see that here. Doing little practice exercises like this in Spanish to practice a single R. Practice, I spelled it wrong. Practice a single R will make your tongue get used to the sound, and get used to the sound and train yourself to say it properly and naturally. There we go. So when you say gracias, anything with an R, this is basically what's happening. I'll give you a couple more. Maybe one or two more that might help you. If you say something like today's. Let's do this one. If you say, for example, today's, and you say it quickly, today's, it's actually very similar to the word tres in Spanish, which is the number 3, right? Today's, tres. Today. It's not exactly the same, but it's super close to tres, right? Today's. It's actually funny, as I say it, I'm like hearing almost the same thing back and forth. So already. Let me quickly have a check for people watching live, if there's any questions or things that have come up. Our live people, nope, seems we have no questions, just some different comments and such. Yes, Cole, I didn't see your initial question there. Yes, this is an audio/video, and there's a companion note file, which you'll find in the description of this video here. Okay, this is probably a good time to pause for a moment and make a good little piece of advice for people. If at any point, a lot of these videos might be kind of long. They might be an hour, 2 hours, 90 minutes. They might be longer than what your attention span is, meaning you're learning something, you're like, oof, okay, my brain is getting really tired. I'm not sure if I'm absorbing this properly. It's totally fine. I actually highly encourage you to stop the video, come back to it tomorrow, another day. Highly encourage you to do that. Learning a language, in fact, learning any skill is very similar to eating. You need to eat. You have to eat vegetables. You have to eat fruits. You have to eat carbs, and you have to eat your proteins and meats and whatever you eat in your diet. You have to eat to survive. But you can't eat everything in one sitting. You can't just go and eat 1,000,000 calories and then never eat again in the rest of your life. It's not how it works. You can't eat in one sitting and be good for the rest of your life. It's not how it works. So language works the same way. Even though these videos might be, some of them might be kind of long and there's going to be a lot of content coming at you, you've got to take it at your pace, because everyone's going to get full, quote unquote. Your brains are going to get full and you'll feel kind of tired of learning and you'll have enough at a different point. So you're welcome to stop it, take a rest for a day, come back the next day, take a rest for an hour, come back in an hour, whatever it is. You're more than welcome to do so, because we're going to be covering, as I said, there's going to be a lot of content we're covering. Like we said in the introduction video, the goal of this class, if you scroll up to page number 3, right? If you look at that bottom little square in the chart that we posted, where it says A1, we're trying to get you to that first, it's close, somewhere around in the ballpark of an A1 in Spanish. So it's a lot of knowledge that goes into achieving that level 1 in Spanish, right? So, okie whoa, that's a weird sound. Okie dokie is what I meant to say. I see some more people hopped on, so please Google Doc in the description below. You can follow along as we learn. Okay, so we've done a pronunciation activity. We're going to continue some other basic phrases. If you're watching the what do you call it? The recorded version here. Actually, let's not do it that way. Ignore that. So let's continue with some basic phrases. Okay, basic phrases continued. By the way, one thing I will do at the end of each lesson, which you'll notice, especially if you've seen the recorded lesson, perhaps at the bottom of the bottom or top of every page, I'll write just a nice summary of everything that was learned in a very organized manner. Because I realize that as we go, we might get a little bit disorganized. Might take some breaks for pronunciation activities. We might kind of bounce around a little bit. So I'll do my best to read like a summary kind of at the top, or perhaps the bottom of each lesson, of each day of lessons, each video that we have. That way you guys can kind of see it in a nice organized way and can get it nicely in your notes. Okay, so basic phrases continued. So we have a couple things which are important. We have buenos días, we have buenas tardes, and we have buenas noches. Okay, buenos días, buenas tardes, and buenas noches. We have those three. Okay, buenos días is good morning. Buenas tardes, good afternoon. And then buenas noches is good night. Okay, I'll say all three a couple of times so you can just kind of get that really ingrained into your brain. Buenos días, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenas noches. Okay, I'll say them a couple more times. I'll say maybe 2 or 3 more times each. Buenos días, buenos días, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas tardes, buenas tardes. And then, of course, the last one, buenas noches, buenas noches, buenas noches. Fun little point we can just throw in. Often one thing I've noticed when I've been in different Latin American countries or talked to different people, it's pretty common for people to shorten it and just say buenas. Literally just say buenas, like if they're saying good afternoon or whatever, they might just, as you walk into a store, for example, they might just say buenas, hola, buenas, as in like, hey, good morning, hey, or hey, good afternoon. It's pretty common as well. Okay, let me quickly check if there's any questions. Nope. No questions. Great. Let's go through a couple of more here. A couple more very, very basic phrases. Let's do sorry, especially if you're Canadian watching this, as the stereotype goes. So it's an important word. Lo siento. Lo siento. Lo siento. Lo siento. Okay. Lo siento. Okay. So lo siento is I am sorry. Let's do a couple of more here that are very, very important, especially if you're traveling, for example, and you're like, oh my God, hopefully some of these you don't have to use as frequently as you currently would as you're watching this. Hopefully as time goes, some of the things that we do, you're like, oh, I don't need to use that as often as I initially needed to. Okay. One of them is I don't understand. No entiendo. No entiendo. No entiendo. So literally, if we break it down, it breaks, like if we break it down word per word, what it means. No means no. Sounds so funny saying it like that. Entiendo means I understand. So no, I understand. No, I understand is what you're saying. No entiendo. No entiendo. Other common things you might need as a beginner. Very important one. How do you say blah, 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 blah in Spanish? Okay. If you want to ask someone, hey, how do I say like cell phone in Spanish? How do I say da 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 in Spanish? How do I say da 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 in Spanish? How do I say something 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 in Spanish? We say ¿cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice? Blah 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 en español. ¿Cómo se dice such and such and such and such and such thing en español? ¿Cómo se dice blah 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 en español? Okay, I'll say it a couple times. I'll say it a couple times so you can get it really in your mind. ¿Cómo se dice? I'll give you some examples. ¿Cómo se dice pen en español? ¿Cómo se dice putty knife? This is the putty knife. ¿Cómo se dice putty knife en español? ¿Cómo se dice lamp? There's a lamp in front of me. En español. ¿Cómo se dice container en español? ¿Cómo se dice stapler en español? ¿Cómo se dice computer en español? ¿Cómo se dice headphones? Headphones, here we go. En español. ¿Cómo se dice whatever you want to? ¿Cómo se dice blah, 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 blah? En español. In fact, that's probably one of the most important things. One of the most important things you might actually use in Spanish. super, super, like if you're learning, like it's such a common thing you might want to use over and over to ask people, how do I say blah, 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 blah in Spanish? Okay. I'll give you another phrase here, which is very useful for beginners, especially if you're if you're traveling, things like that. Hopefully, after you're done this class, you don't have to use it anymore, right? I don't speak Spanish. No hablo español. No hablo español. No hablo español. So if we break this down, what's happening word per word? No, as we know, is no. No need to really go into that. Hablo means I talk or I speak. So if we go word per word, it means no, I speak. Español means Spanish. So no, I speak Spanish, aka I don't speak Spanish. No hablo español. No hablo español. I'll say it a couple of times. No hablo español. No hablo español. No hablo español. Okay. You'll also almost certainly, let me look at my notes here, my class notes. I've got a file in front of me. Sorry, here we go. That's the next one on the list. Next one will do. Can you speak a little bit more slowly? Okay. Can you speak a little bit more slowly? Okay. Puedes hablar más despacio, por favor. Okay. Puedes hablar más despacio, por favor. Okay. If we look at this, we have some good news in this sentence, actually. These aren't all new words. You know some of these words. What's puedes? Everybody look at puedes, the very first word. Think about it. I'll give you 10, 15 seconds to think. We've seen puedes before. You've heard puedes before. What does this word mean? Start little timer. I'll give you 10 seconds to think about it. Puedes. Puedes. I'll give you a hint. We saw it in the last introduction lesson. Is one of the first things we learned. Puedes. Okay. Puedes. Have I given you long enough? Hopefully. Puedes. Puedes means you can. Right? Puedes means you can. So if we look at this word per word, puedes, you can. Hablar, the next word, means like to talk or speak. If we look at the previous sentence, I don't speak Spanish. If you go up one line in the notes, no hablo español. Hablo, you can actually notice it. H-A-B-L in hablo is the same H-A-B-L in hablar in the next line down, right? So we've seen this hablo. So hablar is almost the same word, just a little bit different in spelling and pronunciation. So puedes, you can. Hablar, talk. Más means more, okay, like M-O-R-E. So puedes hablar, you can talk. Más, more. Despacio means slow, okay? Slow or slowly can mean both. If you guys know the song Despacito, you guys have probably heard it with well, it depends on what version you know, what version you know, but Despacito, I'm sure you've probably heard it on the radio. Right, that's coming from the word despacio, which means slow. Okay. And then por favor means please. Okay. Por favor means please. In fact, I don't think we've learned please yet, but I'll make sure it's the next one on the list. So when you say puedes hablar más despacio, por favor, you're saying, can you talk more slow, please? Puedes hablar más despacio, por favor. Okay. I'll say it a couple of times. I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it a few times. Puedes hablar más despacio, por favor. Puedes hablar más despacio, por favor. Puedes hablar más despacio, por favor. Puedes hablar más despacio, por favor? ¿Puedes hablar más despacio, por favor? Nice. How are the brain feelings? How is the brain feeling? We've been going for a good, how long has it been? We've been going for just under an hour. Fantastic. Okay. So let's do a couple more just basic survival type phrases. Let me just kind of look through my notes. What have we missed here? Ah, yes. Okay. Let me make sure. I don't think we did it last time. I'm just going to quickly scroll up in the notes and make sure we didn't do it last time, but I'm almost positive we didn't do it. Nope, we did not. We have, what's your name? What's your name? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? I'll make a little pronunciation point. I'm going to highlight the double L in the word llamas in green. So you guys will see that. It's highlighted in green. Okay. That double L in Spanish is pronounced, basically you've got two different options on how to pronounce it. Both of them are equally correct. You can either say it as a letter Y, like a Y. So I could say, ¿Cómo te llamas? Or you can say, ¿Cómo te llamas? Kind of like a JY combination, like a Gia, ¿Cómo te llamas? Or ¿Cómo te llamas? Both are super fine. Both are very acceptable. Both are very widely used. So anytime you see that double L in Spanish, okay, we have a Y or a J. There is a third, there are some other variations that are not quite as common, but those two variations are very, 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 very widespread. So, ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? You have some other alternatives for how to say what's your name. You have other alternatives as well. You could say, ¿Cuál es tu nombre? 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 If we break down both ¿Cómo te llamas? And ¿Cuál es tu nombre? Word per word, I'll explain what it means. So ¿Cómo? From ¿Cómo te llamas? Means how. It's the same ¿Cómo as in ¿Cómo estás? When I'm asking you how are you. So ¿Cómo is how. Te llamas translates to you call yourself. So when I say ¿Cómo te llamas? I'm saying how do you call yourself? If I say ¿Cuál es tu nombre? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? It means, word per word, it means ¿cuál is like which or what, can kind of mean one of the two, which or what. Es means is. Tu is your. Nombre is name. So ¿cuál es tu nombre? ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? To answer, my name is blah, 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 blah. You'd say, me llamo, and your name. Me llamo, in my case, me llamo Azren, right? Me llamo Azren. Me llamo blah, 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 blah. Me llamo Sarah. Me llamo Cole. Me llamo Vladimir. Me llamo, I don't know, whatever your name is. Sarah. Me llamo, whatever your name is. Okay. Quick little side note. I see there's some more people in the live video. I'm not sure how many of you came on earlier or came on later, but there is a notes file we're actually currently going through. In the link in the description below, you are going to see a Google Doc file. In the Google Doc, that is where we have the notes for this class. Okay. So me llamo and then your name. Alrighty. How is everyone's brains feeling? Let me check the live chat if there's any questions or anything like that. Yes, here we go. So if ¿cómo se dice brain in español? So actually, listen to that question. Let's do a listening comp at the same time. We've got a question in the live chat from Tessa, our #1 student so far, who says, ¿Cómo se dice brain en español? I'll say it a couple times. Let's see if you understand our question. ¿Cómo se dice brain en español? ¿Cómo se dice brain en español? ¿Cómo se dice brain en español? Feel free to look through our notes. It's actually right in the basic phrases continued, right on this page here. So page number 6, page 6, right? ¿Cómo se dice brain en español? She's asking, how do you say brain in Spanish, right? So brain is cerebro, cerebro, cerebro. Perhaps what I'll do, any like random notes, maybe I'll write it on this. Like I think sometimes when there's certain notes I'm not going to write in the Google Doc, and there's certain things I'll just write maybe on a little blackboard or something. Things that are not super mission critical to you achieving the course outcomes, I'll just write on this. So brain. So you have to look, if you're watching the Google Doc screen, maybe switch back to the video screen so you can see here, see me talking. Or you can see the screen so you can see what I show on here, what I show on it. Okay, I'll show you. So brain, cerebro. Cerebro is a brain. Perfect. Hopefully I've held that up long enough. By the way, if I hold this up here, it's not backwards writing, is it? If someone in the live chat could just let me know. This isn't showing up as like a mirror, is it? I hope you see it written correctly so you can see the spelling and everything. I hope so. Someone please let me know in the live chat. People are watching this live. Okay. We are building. Let's keep this going. Now, I'll refresh. I'll say it one more time. If your brain is getting overwhelmed, you're like, oh my God, this is enough information for me. Please stop the video. Please pause it. Please take a break. Because as I said, I'm just gonna sit down and make long videos, and sometimes you're gonna have to stop at whatever point you feel is the right point to stop for you. Okay. Next one. What do you do for work? Now, here's a cool thing about this question. What do you do for work in Spanish? If we look at the words and how do you say this, you know almost all of them. You say, ¿cuál es tu trabajo? ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? I'll say it a couple of times. ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? Okay, so we know the first 3 words. We saw them in ¿cuál es tu nombre? If you're looking in the Google Doc, and we go up 2 lines in the Google Doc from basic phrases continued, if we go up 2 lines, we have gone into what's your name. If you notice, ¿cuál es tu nombre? The first 3 words are the same. So if we go to ¿cuál es tu trabajo? ¿Cuál is what? Can also mean which, depends on the context, but in this case means what. Es means is. Tu is your. Trabajo is job. So what is your job? ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? And let me quickly check the live chat. No questions or anything? Nope. ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? And what we're going to do now, and maybe this will be the last thing we do in this video before I cut it, we're going to go through a whole bunch. We'll try and do as many as we can. Different job titles in Spanish. Okay? Okay, job titles in Spanish. So the way you'd answer ¿cuál es tu trabajo? For people watching the recording, please look above in the Google Doc where it says job titles in Spanish. You would say soy and then your job title. Soy and your job title. Oops. Okay. Soy and your job title. We're going to do a whole bunch. I've got a whole list open on my computer here that we're going to cover off. It's actually crazy. Fun little side note that's really interesting about learning another language. Job titles are the most annoying things to learn because there's so many different position titles. Like you might think, oh yeah, doctor, lawyer, teacher, YouTuber, whatever, athlete, whatever. You might think there's certain ones, but there's literally hundreds and hundreds of different titles. Like you might get things like marketing manager, marketing coordinator, I don't know, like systems engineer. Like there's so many different technicalities we can get into that it's one of the most annoying things. So we're gonna do a whole bunch of common ones. What I would recommend is there's a specific job title that, there we go, plug my laptop in. If there's a specific job title you want to know what to say, I'll give you two different options. One, just message me and I'll help you with it. Option two, if there's a job title that we do not cover, that you're like, oh my God, how do I say this? What you can do is, first of all, Google Translate or just look in a dictionary. There's a couple of good dictionaries I can recommend, one of which is Word Reference. So Word, WORD reference. Another one is Linguee, LINGUEE. Again, LINGUEE. I'll spell it one more time. LIN as in Norman, GUEE. These are a few different dictionaries you can use, or Google Translate. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take whatever thing you find, whatever word you find, you're going to copy that word, copy that term. You're going to go back into Google, you're going to paste it, and you're going to search Mexico or any Latino country. So for example, let's say you're looking for teacher and you're like, how do I say teacher? And you find profesor and you're like, profesor, is that correct? You're going to go into Google, search profesor Mexico, profesor Spain, España, profesor Peru, profesor Chile, profesor whatever, right? You know, look in that country, whatever Latino country, Spanish-speaking country you want, and you're going to find job boards. Go onto the job boards and see what the titles of the job postings are. Then you'll know exactly how to, you'll have a much better idea on how to say your specific job title. Another thing you can do to confirm your job title is once you found a word in a dictionary, Google Translate, whatever it is, you think you know what it is, go back to Google, copy paste it, click images, and see what images pop up for that job title. If the Google image results look like your job, you've most likely found the word for your job. You can also look at the titles of the websites of each picture. Sometimes you'll post something and Google knows what you're trying to say, so it gives you the right pictures and it gives you these websites that use the term, but it'll be mildly, slightly different than what you wrote in. Because sometimes Google Translate or dictionaries, they're not going to give you the exact accurate term for your job. They're going to give you something that's really close and similar and people will understand, but it's not going to be the exact perfect way to say it. But if you look at the Google images, you look at the title of the images, you're going to see, oh, I wrote profesor with 2 S's, but it's actually profesor with 1 S. Oh, cool. Okay, now I know. Okay, so let's go through some common job titles. I see, looks like 1 or 2 new people came on the live chat, I think. So if you did, and you're wondering where our notes are, go into the description of the video. You're going to see the link in the description for the class notes. Okay, so let's go through a couple. Doctor is médico. Médico. Okay, médico. By the way, live people watching, maybe just throw in job titles you want to know. If there's any specific ones, maybe type them in the chat and I'll make sure we get those. Teacher, profesor. 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 Okay. Lawyer, abogado. 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 Okay. Let's do some more here. Abogado. We have, for example, let's do a fireman. Bombero. 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 Okay. Mechanic. Mecánico. 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 Okay, I'll point out a couple of these. You'll notice there's some accents in some of these words here. So like médico has an accent on that E. So we got to remember we emphasize that médico, the E in médico, we emphasize that syllable. We look at mechanic, we emphasize that A, mecánico, right? Mecánico, we have to emphasize that. We might be able to do, what else do we have? Músico, maybe. Músico is a musician. Músico. 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 Okay, is a musician. Okay, we have things like waiter. Maybe you're a waiter. Mesero. 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 Fun fact about the word waiter. Waiter is a very, actually, this is a fun fact worth sharing in Spanish in general. Because there's so many countries that speak Spanish, there are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of variations in words depending on what country you're in. So sometimes you go to a country and they'll say mesero. Sometimes like there's different, the job titles or words, not just job titles, words in general might be really different in one country from the next. So I'll never forget, for example, when I was in Spain for the first time, I was in Spain and there's this restaurant that I used to go to every day for breakfast. There's like a small little cafe restaurant type thing. And one day I was reading the menu and they said, aguacate. Aguacate is a avocado. Okay. And I'm seeing this, I'm like, aguacate, what the heck is aguacate? And I'm like, what the, I didn't know the word at the time. And I was like, aguacate, what vegetable or what fruit, what food is this? So the waitress was kind of the same lady every day. She kind of knew I was there and we kind of knew each other. And I spoke very fluent Spanish at the time. I was very comfortable in the language. I was like, yeah, this is fantastic. Like, yes, I know Spanish, yay. And I was like, aguacate, what the heck is this thing? So I asked the waitress, what is aguacate? And she's like, you don't know? And I was like, no. She's like, oh, I would have thought you know, because my Spanish is really strong, right? And she's like, how would you not know a word like aguacate? And I was like, what is it? She's like, oh, I don't know what in English. It's like a green thing. And I was like, great, all vegetables are green. Like so many things are green. What do you mean? So she goes to the back in the kitchen, grabs an avocado and shows me, this is aguacate. And I was like, that's an aguacate? What the heck? Because to me, the word I learned for avocado was something completely different. I learned what do you call it? Palta. Palta is the word that I learned for avocado. Turns out, and I learned it when I was in Spain, the more common and more widespread word, the more widely used word for avocado is aguacate. And palta is only used in a couple of different countries. It's not super common at all. So it's a crazy little thing which happens in Spanish due to the fact that there's so many countries and regions and people and provinces that speak this language. It is so widespread that there tends to be little differences. So some of these job titles we're going through, as we're going through them here, there might be regional variations. There might be certain things that are a little different. In fact, anything we ever learn, there might be things that you hear slightly differently somewhere else. And that's perfectly normal. And that's just sort of how it is from time to time. So just a bit of a thing to mention. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go into engineer. Okay, ingeniero. 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 I'm going to make a small pronunciation point. I'll highlight it in green here. So in the word ingeniero, you'll notice there's a G-E. Anytime you see a G and an E together, the G is pronounced like the letter H. So it's not ingeniero, it's ingeniero. Ingeniero. Let me check the live chat and to see if there's any questions that have come up. Teacher's assistant, how do you say that? Ugh. My guess is like asistente de profesor, but I actually don't know. So we're gonna do the exact same thing, the exact same process that I told you before. Teaching assistant, maestra auxiliar. So I'm gonna look this up while we're doing this because I don't know how to say that. Profesor auxiliar. So let me see here. Empleos de Profesor auxiliar México. Maestra auxiliar. Huh. I'm not actually sure. I don't want to spend like 10 minutes like Googling through things and trying to figure out this word. If there's any native Spanish speakers who are in this video, let me know what you would say in your country, how you say a teaching assistant. I'm not sure. Tessa, send me a message directly to remind me to look into that, and I'll look into it for you. I'm not really sure what the word for teacher's assistant is. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not 100% sure. You could say profesor. I'll write this out for you here. You could probably say profesor auxiliar and you'll be understood, at least. I'm not sure if that's the technical right word. I'll write it on this here. In your case, profesora auxiliar. Okay, so in your case, Tessa, you can say profesora auxiliar. I think you'll be understood. I just don't know if that's like the technical real, like if that's what the real job title would be, but feel free to use this and I think you'll be understood. Okay. Hello, Uncle Luke Chilton. I like your comment of awesome. Glad you're enjoying the class so far. So let's do secretary. Secretario. 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 Okay. For all of these job titles, I will make a little bit of a note. We will often have, generally speaking, if you want to make a job, a profession, like someone's profession, if you're a guy, it's going to end in an O. If it's a girl, you're going to make it end in an A. So for example, a female secretary would be secretaria. Secretaria, with an A at the end. Okay? Una secretaria. Or for example, a female waiter would be mesera. Mesera. Right? Or like a female, what do we have here? Engineer, ingeniera. 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 Right? Etc., etc., etc. Like generally speaking, for a lot of different job titles, if you make it end in an A, you add an A at the end or you add an A, it's going to make it feminine. It's going to make it for females and not for males. Okay? So that's going to go for a lot of these job titles as we go. Let's do a few more job titles. I mean, I don't want to spend forever on job titles, but hopefully we can get some main ones. I'm going to open up the list on my computer here. All righty. Perfect. Here we go. So if we do, for example, a gardener, okay? A gardener, jardinero. 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 Right? Gardener be jardinero. 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 All right. Let me scroll through my list I've got here, see if there's others I specifically want to make sure I talk about here. I'll give you a couple more here. You might say, like, if you're a administrator of something, administrador. Administrator. Administrador. Okay. Administrador. So you're a library administrator, whatever. Perhaps you are a, what else do we have here? Perhaps you are a programmer, right? Programador, right? Programmer. Oops. Programador. Programador. Maybe you're a translator. Traductor. Traductor. Perhaps you're a writer. Escritor. escritor. A similar word will be an author, right? Autor, autor, autor. Okay. I think we have enough job titles here. We can wrap the job titles up on our list, on our Google Doc list here. Again, anyone who's hopped onto this, I see some people that hop on and then some new people that are hopping on. Go into the video description. You'll see the link for the Google Doc notes that we're using. So feel free to click that and follow along. So when we look at these job titles, everything I've given you so far, if we make it end in an A, it becomes feminine. I'll make sure I write that in here too. All of these job titles will become feminine if you add an A at the end, right? So profesor is a teacher. Profesora is a female teacher. So abogado, male teacher. Abogada, abogado, male lawyer. Abogada, female lawyer, right? Bombero is a male fireman. Bombera, female fireman. Mecánico is a male mechanic. Mecánica is a female mechanic, right? Músico, on and on and on and on. Everything, if we make it end in an A, if the last letter becomes an A, it becomes feminine. If the last letter is an O, it is masculine. It is for males. Right? So profesor, profesora, abogado, abogada, bombero, bombera, mecánico, mecánica. Other ones, traductor, traductora, right? Jardinera, jardinero, secretario, secretaria, ingeniero, ingeniera, administrador, administradora, programador, programadora, traductor, traductora, escritor, escritora, autor, autora, etc., 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 etc. Okay. As per usual, any questions, feel free to reach out. More than happy to help. Super happy to help you guys out. Okay, we've done a lot of new vocabulary, new words, new phrases. So I think it's time that we do some practice. Okay. Okay. So if you're watching this live, I'm going to give you a 60-second, maybe a 60-second or 2-minute break here. Okay, maybe a two-minute break. If you're watching this recorded and you don't need a break and you're like jump right in, just literally fast forward in the video by 2 minutes. Maybe make it a minute to be safe. I'm just gonna go and grab a glass of water. In this minute, while I'm not here, while I'm grabbing my glass of water, I want you to review what we've done, read through it, because we're going to do some listening practice, some speaking practice. We're going to do some practice with it. So it's good if you kind of refresh your mind on what we've done so far. Okay, so let me just, oopsies. Let me just do something here quickly while you guys prep. I'll just throw this on the screen. There we go. Okay, back in a minute or two, review your notes. In fact, I should have talked to my credentials who I am, because people don't know who I am often when they come across it. Sometimes I think Recording it to hide. Yes. Yeah, you can go into the Google Doc. Did you hear I said 100 times go into Google Doc? You should be listening. Google Doc check. Google Doc check. Okay. We are back. Or I am back, rather. All right. So, you guys did some review. Let's do some listening, and we can do some speaking practice at the same time. So, using the what we're going to do is using the different different words, different phrases. I'm going to say some different things, and I want you to listen and really try and understand what I'm saying. I'm going to try almost everything I say is going to be using words that we've used before. And I want you to try and understand. I'm going to basically make up a little bit of very short kind of self-introduction. It's not exactly going to be true. I'm going to do a few versions of it over and over, a few different ones, and hopefully you can understand kind of what I'm saying. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to keep some of these notes open in here that I have, so I can just keep a reference of some of the things we've done. Okay, are you guys ready? Ears are peeled. I'll go really slow. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Me llamo Azren. Me llamo Azren. Me llamo Azren. Soy de Canadá. Soy de Canadá. Me llamo Azren. Soy de Canadá. Okay. I'm going to write this. I'm going to have this written out as well. Okay. So you guys can see. I'll write this in the Google Docs. You guys can see. Now, if you are watching this recorded, you're obviously going to have access to the full text while I'm doing all this. What I'm going to ask you to do is actually cover it up with your hand, right? Cover it up and try and listen without reading what I'm saying. Okay, I want you to listen first and only look after. Only look after, okay? So, hola, ¿cómo estás? Me llamo Azren y soy de Canadá. Okay, so hola, ¿cómo estás? Me llamo Azren y soy de Canadá. Soy de Canadá. So hi, how are you? My name's Azren and I am from Canada. Okay. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Soy de Canadá. Yo soy profesor. Yo soy profesor. Yo soy profesor. Okay. What is yo soy profesor? Right? Or I can even just say soy profesor. I can simplify it. Soy profesor. Soy profesor. So I am a teacher. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Me llamo Azren y soy de Canadá. Soy profesor. ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? Difficult. ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? I'll type that in so you can see. So if you're watching the recording, you can look at the next line. ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? What does that mean? ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? Well, what does cuál mean? Do you remember? Cuál means what or which. Es is tu trabajo, your job. ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? What does that mean? It means what's your name, right? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? Take a moment and actually think about it. How would you say, oh, my name is whatever your name is, and I am a teacher, or I am whatever your profession is? Think about that. How would you say that? Maybe a second. How would you say that? You want to say, oh, my job is blah, blah, blah. I am a blah, blah, blah. And my name is whatever your name is. What would you say? Think about that. If you're watching it live, feel free to type it in. Feel free. I'll give you a reminder here for people watching this recording and you want me to look at different things or correct your work. Send me a direct message on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, those 3 places, at Polyglot Azren, and I will correct it for you. Okay? So we said, I said, ¿cuál es tu trabajo? ¿Cómo te llamas? Your response would be, me llamo, whatever your name is, y soy, whatever your job is. So I'll write that in here. Okay, so you would say, me llamo, blah, 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 y soy, blah, 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 your job title. Me llamo, your name, y soy, whatever your job title is. Okay, so think about this here. I want you to, actually, let's not think about this. Let's do another version. Let's do another mini little dialogue. Okay. Buenas tardes. Me llamo Diego. So I'll say it again. Buenas tardes. Me llamo Diego. Y hablo español. I'll say it again. Buenas tardes. Me llamo Diego y hablo español. Buenas tardes. Me llamo Diego y hablo español. I'll write that in for you now. Buenas tardes. Me llamo Diego y hablo español. What does that mean? Think about that. Hola. Buenas tardes. Me llamo Diego y hablo español. What does that mean? Number 2. So that means good afternoon. My name is Diego and I speak Spanish. So if we break this down, buenas tardes means good afternoon. Me llamo, my name is, Diego is his name, me llamo Diego. Y, we haven't done y, but hopefully you've pieced it together. Y means and hablo español. Hablo means I speak. Español means Spanish. So buenas tardes, me llamo Diego y hablo español. ¿Hablas? ¿Puedes hablar español? 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 What does that mean? None of these words are new. We've done all these words before. Everything we're doing right now, I'm going to try and keep it really close to all the stuff that we've done so far. Okay, so puedes, we've seen a bunch of times. Puedes is you can. Hablar is talk or speak. So you can speak. Español is Spanish. Spanish. So I'm asking you, can you speak Spanish? ¿Puedes hablar español? And what would you say? Right now, your answer is pretty straightforward. No hablo español. No hablo español. In this case, because you don't speak Spanish right now. No hablo español. So no means no. What's hablo? Think about it for a moment. What's hablo? Hablo is I speak, right? I speak. No hablo español, right? You could also say, no puedo hablar español. No puedo hablar español. No, I can't speak Spanish. So puedo is puedo is I can. Hablar we know is speak. Español we know is Spanish. So no, I can speak Spanish. No, I can speak Spanish means no, I cannot speak Spanish. Right? So, ¿puedes hablar español? No puedo hablar español. No puedo. Right? What if you want to say, I can speak English? Like, no, I can't speak Spanish. I can speak English. Or I can't speak, I don't speak Spanish. I speak English. What would you say? I'll give you a moment to think about it. Okay. So, no puedo hablar español. You say, puedo hablar inglés. Inglés is English. Not sure if we've done that before, but now you know. No puedo hablar español. Puedo hablar inglés. So I can't speak Spanish. I can speak English. Right? So buenas tardes. Me llamo Diego y hablo español. ¿Puedes hablar español? No hablo español. Hablo inglés. Right? Hablo inglés. Or puedo hablar inglés. Okay. Let's do another one. Let me look here. Let's do okay. Buenos días. Buenos días. Soy de Europa. Buenos días. Soy de Europa. Buenos días. Soy de Europa. Y tengo, I don't know, 2 hijos. So, buenos días. Soy de Europa. Y tengo 2 hijos. Soy de Europa y tengo 2 hijos. So I'll write it in here so you can see it. Buenos días. Me llamo. Soy de Europa y tengo 2 hijos. This is going back to last time. So I'll let you process that for a moment. What am I saying? Buenos días. Soy de Europa y tengo 2 hijos. Okay. So what I'm saying is, good morning. I'm from Europe and I have 2 kids. It's not just a random little sentence, but I'm just trying to get your ears used to the language. So let's break this down word per word. Buenos días is good morning. Soy de Europa, we learned is I am from Europe. Y tengo 2 hijos. Tengo, we learned is I have. Tengo 2 hijos. I have 2 kids. Tengo 2 hijos. Okay. Now I'll ask you, ¿tienes hijos? ¿Tienes hijos? ¿Tienes hijos? ¿Tienes hijos? So what's tienes? Tienes, we have written it in the Google Docs, you guys can see. Tienes means what? You have, right? So we've learned tienes. Tienes hijos means, do you have kids? Okay, let's level it up just a little bit. ¿Eres de Europa? ¿Eres de Europa? Okay, what does that mean? That's a little bit, we've learned all these words, but perhaps not exactly in this order, but let's look at them. Eres means you are. De means from. Europa is Europe. So I said, oh, do you have kids? Are you from Europe? How could you respond? Let's say you are from Europe and you don't have kids. What would you say? I'll give you 5-6 seconds to think about it. Okay, I'll give you a moment here. Let's move my chair in a little bit. There we go. So if you're from Europe, you don't have kids, you'd say, soy de Europa. Soy de Europa. No tengo hijos. Soy de Europa. No tengo hijos. So I am from Europe. I don't have kids. Soy de Europa. No tengo hijos. What if you're not from Europe, but you have kids? What would you say then? No soy de Europa. No soy de Europa. Tengo hijos. No soy de Europa. Tengo hijos. Y tengo hijos. You might even add a word like pero in the middle. Right? No soy de Europa, pero tengo hijos. I'm not from Europe, but, pero means but. Maybe I'll highlight this word in a specific color. Pero means but. So maybe I'll highlight it in yellow so you guys can see. Pero means but. So no, I'm not from Europe, but I have kids. Okay. Let's do another one here. Let's see. This one we'll do a straight listening practice. A straight listening practice. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to listen to see if you understand. Okay? If you understand, think about how you would answer. ¿Estás estresado hoy? ¿Estás estresado hoy? ¿Estás estresado hoy? Okay, I'll write this out here. ¿Estás estresado hoy? Okay, so what do you think those words mean? When you look at those words, you listen to them. ¿Estás estresado hoy? Right? Estresado means stressed, right? Or sorry, I missed a word. Estás is you are. Estresado is stressed. Hoy is today. So are you stressed today? ¿Estás estresado hoy? If you are stressed, you would say, sí, estoy estresado. Sí, estoy estresado. If you're a girl, you would say, sí, estoy estresada. Sí, estoy estresada. If you're a girl. Right? So, estresado for males, estresada for females. Sí, estoy estresado. Sí, estoy estresada. If you're not, then no. No estoy estresado. If you're not stressed, then no. No estoy estresado. Right? No, I'm not stressed. No, no estoy estresado. And if you're a girl, no estoy estresada. Pretty straightforward, right? Yeah, I'm stressed. Or no, I'm not stressed. Okay. Let me quickly check the chat. Make sure there's any, see if there's any questions or anything that people have. Nope. Seems there's no questions. Tessa's, as per usual, doing lots of participation. This is great. The other currently 6 of you watching are not doing much participation. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Seriously though, I would highly recommend you do it. Use the fact that I'm here and I could correct stuff and I can help you. Like, this is the time. You actually have we have enough words to say a lot of different things right now. We've learned, literally, we've had what? If we look at this has been going for 1 hour, 40 minutes. We had a 1 hour class before this, but even the 1 hour class before, only half of it was really a class, really. Half of it was just the intro to the class. So it's not even 2.5 hours. We have enough learned here that we could really put some stuff together. So, okay. Let's do a couple more and then we can wrap this up for today. Okay, a couple more, and then I'll give you some homework and then we can wrap it up. Okay. Let's see here. I got one for you. Another simple question answer. I'll ask you a simple little question based on what we've learned. You answer. Okay. Eres de... No, we did that already. Sorry. Eres abogado. Eres abogado. Eres abogado. So what's abogado? It's a job title. Do you remember which one it is? Eres abogado. Abogado is a lawyer, right? So are you a lawyer? Right? Eres means you are. Abogado means a lawyer. So you say, no, no soy abogado. Or sí, soy abogado. Perfect. Okay, let's start wrapping this up here. Yeah, let's start wrapping this up here. I'm gonna type in some homework for this class. Homework. Okay. Homework for today. Oopsies, I mistyped something. Sorry, guys. For people watching the recorded version, they're probably like, why is Azren saying People watching live, you can see the funny things that are happening in the doc here with colors and pen colors and all sorts of things. Okay, homework. So, homework number 1. I want you to spend some time just reviewing a lot of the new words, just reviewing and rereading it to yourself. The new things we've learned. Okay, so that's number 1. Just spend some time, review it, reread it, really try and get it in your mind. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, I want you to look at some of these words, look at some of the things we've learned, and I want you to write out, let's say minimum 5 different sentences that use these words. Okay. Okay, 5 different sentences that use the concepts that we've learned so far. I'd like you to send those to me. Send them to me via Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat. Okay. In a text message and voice message. I want both. Okay. Yes. So I should write those out. And I would like you to, let me just quickly look through here. There's one more thing I was thinking, but I'm not sure if we're going to do it. Yes. I want you to write out a short introduction of yourself. Okay. Intro of yourself. So tell me about your name, where you're from, your job, so a couple things you have, couple things you can do, and yeah, a couple things you can do, and maybe we leave it there. Okay. If there's something you don't know how to say, and you're like, man, how would I say this about myself, right? I want you to message me or literally look at a dictionary to start to get a concept of how to say it. Then message me, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and be like, hey, did I say this correctly? When you write this introduction, I want you to send it to me in a text message. Send it to me via Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. Okay, in a text and voice message. Send it to me in both. Okay, wow, we've done a lot of stuff. Look how much we've learned in a couple of hours of Spanish. I highly encourage you guys to do the homework. Doing the homework and everything and practicing and everything is going to be going to the stuff that really helps you get through this content. So, and actually really help it stick in your mind. In the future classes, we're going to keep coming back to things. We're going to keep reviewing. So basically like being able to answer, what's your job? Where are you from? What's your name? What do you like? What do you don't like? What can you do? Like those kind of things I'm going to ask so many times repetitively. And if you're doing the homework, we're going to get lots of different practice with it. And yeah, I think it's going to be really good for you guys. So let's wrap this up here. I appreciate your attention, and we'll talk next time. Bye for now. See you.